1 minute, 22 seconds and 4/5, and this was absolutely sensational. You was in so very tight beneath Jerry Bailey. Carson Hollow was unwavering through the stretch. What a horse race.
We're back on Loose on the Lead, one of the great races in Tom Durkin's just incredible resume, the index of brilliant calls in his career, the career that will end August 31st at Saratoga. And, of course, that was at Saratoga, the test in 2002. Carson Hollow and you. Who's better than you? Rich Migliore, good morning.
Good morning and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. It's a beautiful day here at Belmont.
It absolutely is, and of course you will be featured later this afternoon. Fox Sports 1, the Jockey Club Tour, makes its only stop, or at least right now its only scheduled stop at Belmont. Nothing says that later in the fall there might not be something extra special that you guys might swing into action to feature, but looking forward to later this afternoon when the Man of War will be highlighted along with the Ruffian.
Oh, absolutely, and I hope that we have another stop here later on this year, but we have a couple in Saratoga, which is always great, and I think we had a terrific card today. I mean, of course, we're going to bring you the Westchester on tape, but going to be interesting to see Palace Malice, the mile. I guess there's a prep for the Metropolitan Mile, and just a terrific day, and I'm glad the weather cooperated.
Rich, I'm going to certainly ask you about Tom Durkin. We'll talk about him in a moment, but very quickly, had Dave Grenig on earlier, and we talked about yesterday's Peter Pan victory by Tonalist. Dave probably wisely saying, yes, it was very impressive, but let's take a little bit of a caution given the track condition and take it from there. What was your impressions of the performance of Tonalist yesterday?
Well, I would agree with Dave's assessment about that because of the track. You could tell on the backside he was relishing the go, and he was climbing a little bit from the kickback early. Joel kind of, asked him to run enough so he would kind of level off. And then I guess they were off the fence enough. The dirt stopped hitting him, and then he kind of took off with him. And you could see his stride was so impeccable that he really relished the going. I will say this, though. He's a horse that I've liked, and I liked what I saw yesterday, the few months last start to now, he grew up considerably. He filled out more. He lost a little bit of that pleasant colony look to him. He still kind of got the scope and length and size, but now he's kind of broadened out as well to go along with that the height. And I really was impressed with him physically in the paddock and on the racetrack. So as much as I would agree with Dave's assessment about the racetrack and take it with a grain of salt, I just loved what I saw from him physically.
Well, we just watched it again, striding out, and of course he may be laying in wait for California Chrome if indeed the potential dual classic winner arrives at Belmont with a Triple Crown on the line, which would only further enhance what is already scheduled and arcing into an amazing race day. Rich, before we talk about Durkin, one more question. Let's get your final takes on Derby. We talked on the radio on Monday, but I'm curious if you've had more watchings and had any further thoughts about what we saw 8 days ago in Kentucky.
Well, I mean, I still was very impressed with his race visually. I just thought his turn of foot turning for home was so eye-catching. Now, that being said, I've been hearing a lot of criticisms. Well, it wasn't fast. And then the other one is, well, he had a perfect trip. Well, first of all, he creates his own perfect trip. He's a horse that has enough speed that he can put himself where the rider wants to be, and then he waits for the rider's cues. What do you want to do next? And it's not always the most talented horse. It's the horse that has that mental capacity to do that. And obviously, he's the package in that respect. I mean, he's the one chink in his armor. Everybody worries about him leaving the gate. When he leaves the gate on time, he creates his own perfect trip. And then with that acceleration, that's kind of what separates the men from the boys. When a horse has the ability to give you an eighth of a mile like he did turning for home in the Derby, and then as far as the slow time or slow buyer figure, what have you, he's capable of running faster.
Right.
So the fact that he was able to win the Derby without his A effort, let's say, I think bodes well going forward. I mean, I go back to Seattle Slew. Everybody said the same thing about him, and I'm not comparing California Chrome to Seattle Slew, and I don't want anybody to get up in arms here. that, oh, well, it was slow, it was this, it was that. You know what? I'd rather have them be able to go forward off a race than know that they were all in.
I don't disagree at all, and we'll see how it bodes. I mean, from every indication, he has not had even an ounce of weight off after the Derby performance. I had Carl Nafsker with me on radio on Thursday, Rich, and Nafsker, about as good a judge of horseflesh as you're going to see. He says he's thriving, and I mean California Chrome. Nafsker's thriving too. We'll look forward. We'll look forward to Baltimore. Before we wrap up, Rich, I know you got a meeting coming up, but give us your impressions and your feeling with the news announced yesterday that Tom Durkin's unparalleled career behind the microphone will come to an end August 31st.
Well, I think you said it best right there. Unparalleled. It's an amazing talent, a wordsmith that you know we were so fortunate to have in our midst for so long, and mixed emotions. I mean, his calls paint a picture of the race that, you know, I'm certainly going to miss. I mean, as exciting as the race could be, he certainly lent more excitement to it. And think about, you know, anybody can go back and come up with a top 10, their own top 10 list of his favorite calls. Just a brilliant, brilliant race caller, terrific guy, and I'm just hopeful that we'll get to see him around, even though he won't be in the booth.
Absolutely. Have you ever remember a race where you could hear, I know you've mentioned this recently, where you could hear the race call in the background and hear his voice?
Oh yeah, there were a few. I think actually one I was a little upset with him when he said checked and checked hard. No, but you know, I'm kidding actually, but no, I just. I mean, some of the races that one of that stands out towards the very end of my career, my last Grade 1 winner, when I rode Flashing in the Gazelle, and you know, it was one of those kind of front-running rides that had kind of gotten some notoriety for in my career. Bounced him out, you know, backed the pace down, kind of seized the race at some point, and when she won, he said, under a brilliant front-running ride by Richard Migliore, and I thought it was fitting that was my last Grade 1, and he kind of, you know, gave me that big compliment.
Absolutely. Well, Rich, looking forward to watching you later this afternoon. Happy Mother's Day to Carmela, and we will see you next week in Baltimore.
Thank you, and happy day to Mother's Day to Tina as well. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Rich. Rich Migliore, everybody. Couple of things here, and I think we've got time really to go out with one more Durkin audio and visual, and it's about as great a race as may have ever been run at Saratoga, and certainly glad that you can enjoy here as we wrap up Loose on the Lead for this Mother's Day Sunday. I want you to relish Rachel Alexandra in the Woodward, going back, of course, just now, gosh, 5 years, hard to believe, but here it is. Thanks very much, everybody. Talk to you from Baltimore, hopefully with a healthy Seth Merrow. Tom Durkin taking us out.
They're in the gate. And they're off. Past the point on the outside, to tear it down toward the rail. Rachel Alexandra is right up there with them, and Cool Coleman on the outside. So they race into the first turn here. Rachel Alexander will duel with Datera. On the far outside, past the point is right there, and in behind Cool Coleman. A break of 3, back to It's a Bird, another 3, back to Bulls Bay, who's on hold early on here, Asiatic Boy, and another 7 to Macho again, who trails the field. Oh, the first quarter was 22 4/5 seconds. There'll be no free ride for Rachel Alexandra. They're making her work for every step today. Datera has sent her through a punishing opening quarter mile. Past the point on the outside, runs along in 3rd. In behind them, Cool Coleman is 4th. It's a Bird 5th on the outside in Bulls Bay. 46 2 was the half mile. Calvin Burrell was able to slow that pace down just a little bit, but they move into the far turn. There's a half mile to go. Rachel Alexandra still holding that lead. Past the point, trying to get to her. The lead is now a length. On the inside, it is Cool Coleman running in 3rd. It's a Bird is 4th. Asiatic Boy is launching a bit from the back of the pack, and Macho again is firing too. They're coming to the top of the stretch. It is still the filly in front. A dramatic stretch drive awaits in the Woodward Stakes. On the outside, here's Bulls Bay and Calvin Morrell imploring his filly for more. And Rachel Alexandra holds on to the lead. Bulls Bay is second. Macho again is making a tremendous run for the back of the pack. Rachel Alexandra, Macho again. They're coming down to the finish. It's going to be desperately close. Here's the wire. Rachel won. She is indeed Rachel Alexandra the Great, beating Macho again here, and farther back, Bull